Okay, so here are number 1 and number 2 on the study guide. We have trapezoids here. The formula for the trapezoid is area is equal to 1/2 h, then b1 plus b2. So in the first trapezoid, area is equal to 1/2, the height is 4. And then b1 plus b2 is 5 plus 8. It doesn't matter if it's 5 plus 8 or 8 plus 5. So my area is equal to 1/2 times 4 times 13. Okay. And then you could do it either way. I'm going to just go ahead and cancel this. So my area is equal to 26 meters squared. For number 2, it's the same thing. I'm still using the same formula. So area is equal to 1/2. The height is 5, and I'm doing 12 plus 8. So this is area is equal to 1/2 5 times 20. And then I'm going to go ahead and cancel. The 2 goes into 20 10 times. And so my area is 50 centimeters squared. Now, number 3 and number 4, we have kites. So number 3, my kite looks like this is 13, this is 12, and this is 15. Okay. So the area of a kite is 1/2 d1 times d2. So I know that this is 12, so this has to be 12 down here. So, but I don't know the other parts of the diagonal. Okay? But I do know they form right triangles here. So I'm going to use Pythagorean Theorem. So my Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. So I'm going to take this left triangle. The left triangle is a squared plus 12 squared is equal to 13 squared. That becomes a squared plus 144 is equal to 169. I subtract 144 from both sides, and I get a squared is equal to 25. I square root both sides, and I get a is 5. So I know now that this section here is 5. Now I need to find the section on the right. So I'm going to do Pythagorean theorem again, but I'm going to use my triangle on the right this time. So this is going to become a squared plus 12 squared is equal to 15 squared, which becomes a squared plus 144 is equal to 225. I subtract 144 from both sides, and I get a squared is equal to 81. Okay. If I square root both sides, I get a is 9. So in this diagonal, the second part of that diagonal is 9. So now I can plug things into the formula, because d1 is 5 plus 9, that is 14, and d2 is 12 plus 12, that is 24. So my area is equal to 1/2. I'm going to make this 24 for 12 plus 12, and then 9 plus 5 is 14. Okay. So this becomes 12 times 14, and so my area should be 168 inches squared. Now, number 4 is exactly the same thing, except the numbers change. So for number 4, I'm going to keep the same drawing here. And for number 4, this is 9, this is 41, and this is 15. So once again, I'm going to use Pythagorean Theorem. Okay. Okay. So here, a squared plus b squared is 9 squared is equal to 15 squared. Remember, your hypotenuse should always be the c. So this becomes a squared plus 81 is equal to 225. I subtract 81 from both sides, and I get a squared is equal to 144. So if I square root both sides, a is equal to 12. Okay. I do the same thing on the other side. 9 squared plus b squared is equal to 41 squared. So this becomes 81 plus b squared is equal to 1,681. I subtract 81 from both sides, and I get b squared is equal to 1,600. And so if I square root both sides, I get b is equal to 40. So I know this is 12 here, and I know this is 40. So I could just plug it into the formula. Area is equal to 1/2 d1 times d2. The formula is up there, so let me just plug it in. d1 is 9 plus 9, that is 18. And d2 is 40 plus 12, which is 52. So I could cancel the 2 and the 18 to make that 9. And so 9 times 52 is 468 inches squared. So that is how you do numbers 3 and 4. Okay. Now, number 5 and number 6 are the same problem again. So number 5, if I have a parallelogram and a triangle, I basically am finding the area of both combined. So the area of the parallelogram is base times height. My base is 12 and my height is 18. So my area is just 12 times 18, which gives me 216 centimeters squared. Then I find the area of the triangle. The area of the triangle is equal to 1/2 times base times height. So the area is 1/2 times 10 times 18. So your answer here is 90 centimeters squared. Now, what you need to do is you need to add these together because you're going to get the total area. It's 216 plus 90. So your answer should be 306 centimeters squared. So you do the same thing for number 6. Number 6, the numbers just change and the placement is changed a little bit. So for number 6, I give you the height here is 10. And then this is 16, and this is 6. So the area of the parallelogram is base times height. Even if the height here is in the triangle, we could just move it over here. It has the same height. Area is equal to 16 times 10. So area is equal to 160 inches squared. And the area of the triangle is 1/2 times base times height. So area is equal to 1/2 times 6 times 10. So the area here is just 30. And then so the area total is just 160 plus 30. And that's 190 inches squared. Okay. So let's move on to number 7. Now, number 7 and number 8 I did in class, but I just wanted to refresh everyone how to do this one. So for number 7, whenever you have a regular polygon and you're trying to find the area, you need to find the apothem and you need to find the perimeter. So here, you know that the apothem is 5. But remember, so what we're going to do is we're going to split this up into its angles. There's 360 degrees in the middle going around. So what I do is 360 divided by the amount of sides there are, that's 3, and that's 120. So that means when I draw this triangle here, it has an angle of 120 right there. But I know that I have to cut it in half to get my apothem. So 120 divided by 2 is 60. So I know in this problem that this is a 30, 60, 90 triangle, and my apothem is 5. Okay. Now, if I look at this triangle, I'm going to draw it bigger so you can see. Okay. This is 5. And that's across my short side. So, to get my long side, I multiply by root 3. This here should be 5 root 3. Now, however, 5 root 3 is not your side length. It's only half of it. You have to multiply it by 2 to get the entire side length. So the side length is 5 root 3 times 2, and that is 10 root 3. And then so to find the perimeter, it's 10 root 3 times 3, since there are 3 sides of the triangle, and that is 30 root 3. So in the problem, she wants to use 15 root 3. She's wrong. It's 30 root 3. Okay. What she probably did was she used the 5 root 3, and when she found the 5 root 3, she forgot to double it. She just multiplied it by 3 to get the 15. But you're supposed to double it first before multiplying it by the amount of sides there are. Okay. So number 8 is hexagon, but you do the same thing that we did for number 7. So number 8, I have a hexagon. Now, what I do first is I do 360 divided by 6. That gives me 60. So this angle right here is 60. But since I find the apothem, I cut it in half. So 60 divided by 2 is 30. So what I have here is I know this angle right here is 30. And so that makes this angle here 60. And my apothem in this case is 8 root 3. Okay. So the apothem is across 60, so it's my long. To go from long to short, I divide by root 3. So the root 3's cancel. So this is equal to 8. Now, halfway is 8. So to get the side length, I need to take the 8 and multiply it by 2, and that gives me 16. Okay? So once I get 16, to find the perimeter, if each side is 16, I multiply it by 6, and that gives me 96. Okay? And so that matches up with the perimeter the girl wanted to use in number 8. So she is correct. So now let's move on to number 9. Number 9 I also did in class, but here's how you do it. Now, number 9 says, I have a parallelogram that has an area of 45 centimeters squared, and parallelogram B has an area of 125 centimeters squared. So what is the scale factor? So what you actually need to do in this question is you need to simplify first. So here I go from A to B. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go a squared over b squared since we're doing area, and that's equal to 45 over 125. First step is to always reduce this. So I know 5 can go into both 45 and 125. So a squared over b squared, 45 divided by 5 is 9, and 125 divided by 5 is 25. Okay? So what I'm going to do now to get the answer is I'm going to square root both sides. And so my scale factor a over b is equal to 3 over 5. Now, number 10 is exactly the same problem, except if you read the question says I'm going from triangle B to triangle A. So now for number 10, I'm going b squared over a squared. It's 98 over 50. I have to reduce it first. So I know 2 can go into both. So this is 49 over 25. I square root both sides, and my scale factor is 7 over 5. Okay. Now, number 11 is another one of these area of a regular polygon. Now, 11, I have a dodecagon. Okay? Now, the perimeter of the regular dodecagon is 144 inches. Now, if my entire perimeter is 144, and I have 12 equal sides, to find the side length here, I do the side length is 144 inches divided by 12, since there are 12 sides. So your side length is 12 inches. So what I do in this problem is, it's a dodecagon, which means it has 12 sides. So I am going to do, so remember, what I really need to find is, I need to find the angle that is up there. Well, so first let's find the big angle. I could make 12 different triangles since it has 12 sides, so 144 divided by 12. No, sorry. There are 360 degrees in the middle. I divide that by 12, that gives me 30 degrees. Now, because I dropped my apothem, 30 will get cut in half. So 30 divided by 2 is 15 degrees. So what I know is that this is going to be 15. So what I'm going to do, let's draw the separate triangle here. If this is 15, now the length here, okay, if the entire side is 12, okay, I'm going to cut it in half to get this as 6. Okay? Because I'm only doing half of that side. So what I need to do now is I need to find my apothem. Okay? Because in the problem, they already gave me the perimeter. So all I'm missing is the apothem. So the way I do that is I need to find A. So I look at my right triangle trig and know the 6 is my opposite of the 15. And my A is the adjacent. So I'm going to use tangent here. Tangent of 15 is equal to 6 over A. Multiply A on both sides, I get A tan 15 is equal to 6. Okay. So right there, A tan 15 is equal to 6. And then what I do now is I am going to divide both sides by tan 15. Okay. And the tan 15s cancel here. And so A is equal to 6 divided by tan 15. So what this means is you go on your calculator and you press 6 divided by 15 tan equals. And so A is equal to 22.4 inches. Okay. So now you could plug that all into your formula. Okay. I'm going to do it here. area is equal to 1/2 apothem times perimeter. Area is equal to 1/2. My apothem is 22.4. And my perimeter was given in this problem. The perimeter is 144. Okay. So now I just go ahead and multiply that out. So my answer here, the area is around 1,612.8 inches squared. So let's try number 12. Number 12 is the same exact process as number 11. So for number 12, I have a pentagon this time, and it has a perimeter of 90. Okay. So first thing that I'm going to do, I need to find the side length. So if it has the side length, it's 90 centimeters, and it gets split up into 5 equal sides. Okay. So my answer here is 18 centimeters. So my side length is 18. Now let's figure out the angles in the middle. So I take 360, I divide it by 5 sides, and that gives me 72 degrees. Okay. And then I have to take the 72 degrees divided by 2, and that gives me 36 degrees. So I know when I draw my triangle, this is going to be 36, that's 90. Okay. I know, now, so remember, this is half of your side length. So your side length is 18, half of it is 9. Okay? So now, all you really care about is this side now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my SOHCAHTOA and see that I want to find the apothem. So I'm going to use tangent because I'm going to use opposite over adjacent. So tan of 36 is equal to 9 over A. Multiply both sides by A. And so I get A tan 36 is equal to 9. I divide both sides by tan 36. And I get A is equal to, so now let's go ahead and look at a calculator. Do 9 divided by 36 tan. So A is equal to 12.4 centimeters. So now you have your apothem and you have your perimeter, so you could just plug it into the formula. So what I'm going to do is I am going to erase this so you could just see what I'm doing now. So area is equal to 1/2 apothem times perimeter. Area is equal to 1/2 12.4 centimeters. And my perimeter is 90 centimeters. Okay? So when I do this, my area, if I just use my calculator, 12.4 times 45 is equal to 558 centimeters squared. Okay? So that's how you do number 12. Now let's go on to number 13. Number 13 is the more complicated one. But you've had practice doing this. This is on the other lesson plan on YouTube, so you could watch that. So 13. So you're given an octagon, and this time you're given the radius. Okay? So the radius is 16 centimeters, so you can't really see that from this angle. Okay? But you have it on your papers. So what you're going to do is, first step is always to do the same thing. 360 divided by 8. Okay? And this is 45. And then 45 divided by 2 is 22.5 degrees. So I know that in my triangle, this is 22.5. Now, when you're given the radius is the center to a vertex, right? When you're given a radius, that means the hypotenuse is 16. Okay? Whenever you're given the radius, that's the hypotenuse. So, now you need to find both the apothem and this half of the side length to find the answer here. So let's do the apothem first. If I take my angle as 22.5, to get my apothem, it's adjacent over hypotenuse. So here it's cosine of 22.5 because I'm using SOHCAHTOA. So cosine, let me write it up here. Cosine of 22.5 is equal to adjacent, which is A, over the hypotenuse, which is 16. And then now I just multiply both sides by 16. And so I just enter into my calculator 16 times 22.5 cosine equals, and so A should be 14.8 centimeters. Now I need to find my x. So to find my x, I look at my angle and know that it's opposite over hypotenuse, so I'm going to use sine. Sine of 22.5 is equal to x over 16. I multiply both sides by 16. And so x is equal to 16 times sine of 22.5. So once again, I use my calculator. Okay. And I get x is 6.1 centimeters. Okay. However, remember, this x is only halfway. So I have to double it to get my side length. My side length is 6.1 times 2, and so that gives me 12.2 centimeters. Okay? Once I have my side length, all I do to find my perimeter is I take 12.2 centimeters and I multiply it by 8 sides. Okay? So 12.2 times 8 is 97.6 centimeters. Okay? And now I can plug everything into this formula. Area is equal to 1/2 apothem times perimeter. Your apothem you got from the cosine, so it should be 14.8. And my perimeter, we just calculated it as 97.6. So if I just put that into a calculator, I get my answer is 722.24 centimeters squared. There's a decimal there. Okay. Okay. Let's go ahead and do number 14. Number 14. Okay. Now, number 14, I have a decagon. So that means the first step here is to do 360 divided by 10. That gives me 36. And then I have to take 36 divided by 2, and that gives me 18. So I know when I draw my right triangle that it is going to be 18 degrees up here. So I know that the radius is 12, so that's my hypotenuse. And I'm trying to find the apothem, and I'm trying to find this distance right here to get the side length. So to find my apothem, I am going to use cosine because it's adjacent over hypotenuse. So cosine 18 is equal to a over 12. And then I multiply both sides by 12. And so a is equal to 12 times cosine 18. And that gives me the apothem is 11.4 feet. To find my x value, I'm going to use sine now because it's opposite over hypotenuse. So sine 18 is equal to x over 12. I multiply both sides by 12. And so I do 12 times 18 sine, that equals. And so x is around 3.7. However, remember, this is only half of your side length. So you need to double that. So your side length is equal to 3.7 times 2. Okay. And so your side length is equal to 7.4 feet. Okay. Now you have to find the perimeter. I take this side length and I multiply it by 10 sides since it's a decagon. So my perimeter is 74 feet. So now I can plug everything into the formula. Area is equal to 1/2 A times P. A is 11.4. The perimeter is 74. So if I multiply that out, I get the area is equal to 421.8 feet squared. Okay. Okay. So number 15 I did in class. 15 and 16 are pretty straightforward on how to do them. So for number 15, if you have a triangle, and this is 39 degrees, this is 4.3, and this is 6.5. I just use the formula. Area is equal to 1/2 BC sine A. So B and C represent your sides, A represents your angle. Area is equal to 1/2 4.3 times 6.5 times sine of 39. Now, you could just go ahead and plug this into your calculator. So what I'm going to do is I am going to, you could just enter 1/2 as 0.5. So 0.5 times 4.3 times 6.5 times 39 sine is equal to, and we got it was around 8.8 units squared. Number 16. Number 16 is the same exact problem. So 16, it should be your formula. I'm not going to draw it. I'm just going to tell you what it is. 1/2 times 150 times 231 times sine of 123. Okay. And I think when you plug this into the calculator, you should get the area is around 14,530 meters squared. Okay. Now, number 17 is an interesting question. It's a conceptual question. Now, 17, you have a pentagon, and they say to draw, let's make it a little more even. Okay? They say to draw an apothem and a radius and label them. Which one do you know is going to be longer? How do you know? Well, this is your apothem, and this is your radius. So this is apothem, and this is your radius. Now, the apothem makes a 90-degree angle with the thing. So, which one of these, do you know which one's going to be greater? Yes, the radius is going to be greater all the time. The radius will always be bigger than the apothem because the radius is the hypotenuse of the right triangle. Okay? And if, remember, in a right triangle, the hypotenuse is always the longest leg. Okay? So I'm going to put here hypotenuse is longest side. Okay? So that's your explanation for number 17. Now, let's do number 18. Okay. Number 18, I'm going to try to do my best to draw this. Your circle is this. You have E, B, O, 57 degrees, C, D. Okay. Now, for letter A, when you name the circle, that's really easy. No one should get this wrong. It is circle O. Okay? So remember, the way you do a circle is the little circle with a dot in it, and then you name the center. So circle O. B, a radius. There are many radiuses here. I could choose something like OB. Make sure you put the segment line on top. C, a diameter. It has to go all the way across and has to go through the center. So I could do EB. Or there's multiple answers. You could do AC as well. D, minor arc that starts at C. Minor arc has to be less than halfway. So I could say arc CB. And remember, the arc, there should be arc on top. Now, letter E. Letter E says a semicircle that starts at E. Semicircle is half the circle. If I start at E, I could go this way on the bottom, or I could go on the top. I'm just going to use the bottom. Make sure for a semicircle you use 3 letters. And it has to go in order, E, A, B. So that is letter E. Now, letter F is a major arc that starts at D. Major arc is something that's greater than halfway. So I know DBA is greater than halfway. So that's a major arc. For G, the measure of CD. Well, remember, this angle will be the same as that arc. I don't have this angle though, but I do know from E to B, the semicircle is 180. So all I do to get DC is I take 180, I subtract 28, and then I subtract 57. All right? So here it's 180 minus 28 minus 57. And so this answer should be 95. Okay? Now letter H, you want to find ECA. Okay? Well, this one, if I know this is 95 now, okay? So I know that's 95, and I want to find ECA. Well, I know ECB is 180, and then I'm just going to add what BA is here, okay? Now, this one's a little tricky. What is BA? Well, if I know this, okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pretend this isn't here anymore. Okay? Now, what do I know about these two angles? They're vertical, right? So let me put this back here. Okay? So I know angle B, arc BA is the same thing as 95 plus 28, since those are vertical angles. So 95 plus 28 is 123. Okay? And then I'm going to add that to 180. because that's the other semicircle. So 180 plus 123 is equal to 303. Yeah, 303 degrees. Okay. Okay, now let me do I, J, K. So for I, the circumference, if the diameter is 8, circumference is equal to pi d. So the circumference is equal to pi times 8. So the answer is 8 pi centimeters. You could leave it in terms of pi. For J, I want to find the area. Okay. So J, area is equal to pi r squared. So area is equal to pi. If my diameter is 8, my radius is 4. So my area is equal to 16 pi. Now to find the length, okay, I'm going to erase this. So let's do letter K now. K, the length of DE. DE is 28 degrees, so I do 28 over 360. And I multiply it, the length is circumference, so I'm going to multiply by 2 times the diameter, which is 8. So this becomes 28 over 360 times 18. And when I calculate this, 18 times 28 divided by 360, I get 1.4 centimeters. Okay. Now L is asking for the sector. So for L, you actually do the same thing, but instead of multiplying by the circumference, it's 28 over 360 times pi r squared. So it's going to be 28 over 360 times pi times 4 squared. 4 squared is 16. Okay? So this becomes 28 times 16 divided by 360. And so you get around 1.24 pi. Okay? And that is, you could leave that as your answer. Okay, I'm going to skip 19 and we could just work on that in class. And let's just go to number 20 and 21. Number 20, if I convert 45 degrees to radians, I multiply by pi over 180. And then I reduce that. Now, if you don't know what this can reduce to, I know 5. 5 goes into 45 9 times. And 5 goes into 180 36 times. But now I could reduce that even more. 9 goes into 36 4 times. So that's pi over 4. Number 20b, I have 110 degrees. I multiply that by pi over 180. 10 can go into both. This is 11. That's 18. So my answer is 11 pi over 18. Okay. Now, for 21, if I convert from radians to degrees, I multiply by 180 over pi. I see the pi's cancel. And I know 3 goes into 180 60 times. So 60 times 4 is 240 degrees. For letter B, I have 5 pi over 18. I multiply this 180 over pi. The pi's cancel. And then I know that I have 18 goes into 180 10 times. And 10 times 5 is 50. So the answer is 50 degrees.